After upgrading the latest version of macOS, if you encounter problems that cannot access localhost or PHP pages, and errors 4.3 and 4.4 occur, please continue to watch this video to provide you with a solution. The tutorial of the solution will cover the following steps. We will learn Bash commands to solve the problems. First, make sure there has no misspelling of URI to the address bar. On the Firefox browser, click Web Developer on the top menu bar and then select Browser Console to display the output error. If you use Safari, click Develop on the top menu and select Show JavaScript Console to display the error. Each time you upgrade to the latest version of macOS, it will come with some updated software such as Apache Web Server and PHP, which is set back to static mode as off. Data access is not possible. When the client uses HTTP to send the request, HTTP passes the client application to the web server. But for some reason, the server cannot establish any connection. The error status response is sent back and posted to the browser. At the same time, you are both a client and a server, so you also can take care of the server side. To resolve this error, you need to make the server and HTTP have a connection by using the Bash commands. Before that, I need to tell all parties that I don't use any cross-platform tools such as SAP or MAP, etc. to run my website project because I want to perform all operations directly. The macOS has a built-in Apache server and PHP. I can easily download PHP MyAdmin, MySQL, WordPress, and Python in my own way. And I don't want to get too many hierarchies, which means that the text will become more complicated, and it will take time to fix the error in additional layers. So I will provide a solution on the built-in Apache web server side, but you can still keep with using your tool. I will give some suggestions for it. If you want to download all the software by yourself, you can check the description or my suggested links as below. I'm going to use both interfaces of CLI and GUI for this tutorial. Please check that your terminal is installed to applications and put it on the docking station. Then sit in the front of the computer to follow the steps below. Open the terminal. Hold the keyboard buttons of Command and Add or minus keys to adjust the terminal font size. You need to check if the Apache server is available. On the terminal, type httpd, hit spacebar, -v as lowercase, and hit Enter. It will display the latest version of built-in Apache server installed on macOS. To restart the Apache server, type sudo superuser make a space, Apache ctl, make the space, star, and hit Enter. Enter your Mac user password and hit Enter again. Refresh the browser. It will show it works on the localhost. If this time to change stop, hit Enter and refresh the browser. It shows unable to connect. We can guess the path of Apache server location and make a restart. Type where is, make a space, httpd, and hit Enter. You can see the path of the built-in Apache server location. Let's take a look at the GUI. Open the Finder. Click Go at the top menu bar. Select Go to Folder. Type /usr/. Or you can put the path in the field and then click the Go button. We can follow the path as user, bin, and httpd, which is set by the Apache web server. We use this Apache CTL for httpd. Back to the terminal, Let's copy the path and type sudo, make the space, paste the path, change the back of httpd to Apache CTL, make the space, type star, hit enter. Refresh the browser, it works. Now change the stop, hit enter. Refresh the browser, it's unable to connect due to the Apache server stop. Type sudo Apache CTL restart. The command line is common use and easy for building an Apache web server. Refresh the browser, it works. It's better to use the tool's control panel to restart the external server. You can also use the command line to restart server. Here are the examples. The external server is usually installed into the bin or ops directory. You can check it out. But I strongly recommend that you use the control panel to press the start or stop button to restart the external server. If it's still not working, you will still get an error when using an external web server. You must shut down the local web server because it only allows one server to run locally at the same time. So you must stop one and then start the other. After fixes, refresh the browser. It should be okay if you run it correctly. Let's type 127.0.0.1 into the address bar. Refresh the browser. It should be works. And then try localhost will do. After that, you may be connected to localhost, maybe not. Still stuck in unable to connect and receive error 43. Open the Finder to preview the GUI scenario. I know that the tool can set php-myadmin as the project downloaded from the folder. But I highly recommend that you create a new folder, which is the size folder in the user directory, with php-myadmin and move all files into it, instead of using applications because error 43 can be prevented. The Apache servers can point to any directory, and the separate folder will make me feel very clear without messing up anything. As the terminal, if you saw this symbol tilde, that means we are at user directory. If type cd make the space / hit enter. Now that means we are at root directory. Type ls, hit enter to list the contents of the directory located in the root directory. We need to go back to user directory, so type cd, make the space tilde, and hit enter. Type ls again, hit enter to list the contents of a directory located in the user directory. Let me click the User tab on Finder GUI to display my user directory and file contents, which are the same as the command list. You can click on the top menu Files and then select New Folder to create a new directory and name it as size. We can use CLI to make it. Let's do some Bash exercises to create some files and a directory to explain error 43 later. Type clear at the terminal to clear the screen to make some spaces. Then type sudo, superuserdo, make a space, nano, with using nano editor, which run on terminal to create or edit file. Make a space, applications / index.php. You can use .html extensions. It doesn't matter. And hit enter. Insert your Mac user password and hit enter. You can see the file path at the top of the application index page. Let me enter some code. Hello apps. Hold down the Control key, plus X and Y, hit enter to save the file. Now the Hello apps index page created in applications directory. Then enter sudo, make a space. Type this mkdir to make a new directory and make a space, name health. You can give any name you like and then hit enter. The method for creating files is the same. Type sudo, make a space, nano /, health/index.php and hit enter to get into the file. You can see the file path at the top of the health index page. Enter some code this time, hello health buddies. Hold down the Control key plus X and Y and hit enter to save the file. Now the hello health buddies index page is created in health directory. Before we set Apache configuration, we need to find the installation location of the configuration file. As the terminal, we already know how to use whereis to find the located httpd. And also, we can use which to get the same path of the Apache server installation location. Copy the path and paste to the new command line. Make a space, type -v, uppercase V, and then plus enter. You can see the built-in Apache details. The last line. This is the absolute path of the server configuration file. Return to Finder view of GUI. At the top menu bar, click Go button. Select Go to Folder. Type /etc/ into the field, and then click on the Go button. Press the Shift, Command, and the greater than sign keys at the same time, then release to show all hidden files. In addition to etc folder, you can also see the hidden folder called private. In fact, they are all in the same path. Click on private, etc, Apache 2. You can find the httpd.conf file. When directly go from etc, Apache 2, there's httpd.conf file, but actually they are the same of the configuration file. You can use the terminal to find the location of your httpd.conf file. Type sudo space find space / space -iname space. That means sudo find the file in the root directory by file name case insensitive and httpd.conf with open quotes and closing quotes. And hit enter. Insert your Mac user password and hit enter. It takes some time to wait for the file to be found. There is the path of the built-in Apache server location. You can see another httpd.conf file in the original folder. If your file is messed up in the Apache 2 folder, you can use this file for making backup or restore. You can copy the original to overwrite it, and then re-execute my solution. You must find the httpd.conf file which is placed in the folder in the form of etc, Apache, con or con Apache without any folder in between. For example, extra. You can use the control panel to access the configuration file through external Apache's tool. Hold down the Ctrl and C keys to exit. Copy the Apache httpd file path and type sudo nano sudo open the nano editor in the terminal to configure the file. Paste the path and then hit enter. Enter your Mac user password and hit enter again. Hold down the keys of Ctrl and W to display search for a word to help find the command line. We have three main parts to do: modules, document root directory, and includes files. Uncomment the following 7 lines of module. First, put the keyword in the field and then press enter. Mode score, which allows the client to access the website. Mode of host, the authorization providers using the required directive. More include provides a filter for processing files before sending to the client. More UserDir. This module allows user-specific directories to be accessed using the username. More rewrite. The URI that makes requests and redirects to file system paths. Uncomment leave PHP if you want to run built-in PHP contents. That's very important. More auto-index. Set the icon list to display various file types and list the files. I will not use virtual hosting in this tutorial, but rather document root directory. Type document root into the search field. Document root path where the Apache HTTP server runs the web page on the localhost. Directory path directive refers to a directory list. I want the Apache servers point to this directory size as document root, which is located in my user directory, and show the directory path to the browser. In addition, I can see the list of directories. You can use your own directory path URI. About level 3 of the document root and directory path, I will explain more later. Make more settings on this line. Options. Allow use of the directives controlling specific directory. Indexes. If an URI which maps to a directory is requested, and the auto-index will return a formatted listing of the directory. Follow symlinks. The server will follow symbolic links in this directory. Multi-views. Contents negotiated multi-views are allowed using more negotiations. Allow override. Types of directives are allowed. You can set all or none, but here I use all to allow override directories. Require all granted. You can insert or not to negate a particular requirement. All granted or all denied to determine the permission error occurs. Uncomment the following include files. Let's put httpd.conf and enter. You have seen that I have uncommented, which are responsible for binding to network ports on the machine. Auto-index, fancy directory listings. The index of a directory set a list of icons to display for various file types. UserDir, which for per user web directories. After finishing, we need go to user directory configuration. Let me copy the path first. Then press the keys of Ctrl, X, and Y, and then hit Enter to save the file and exit. Type sudo, make a space, nano, make a space, paste the path, and then hit Enter. You need to insert your Mac user password and press Enter again. When get in the file, uncomment the following line to include the file. You see I have already uncommented it. Then press the keys of Ctrl, X, and Y, and hit Enter to save the file and exit. Back to the Finder GUI. At the top menu bar, click Go, select Go to Folder, type /etc/ in the field, and then click Go button. Select Apache 2 and Users. You can find the path location of the user.conf file. If you don't have the user.conf file, create a new one. Type sudo, make a space, nano, make a space, /etc/apache2/users/. Here's my username, you can use yours.conf. Hit enter. Enter the user password and hit enter. Add the following code. The directory path is the Apache pointing at the size folder, which in my user directory, with all of the settings. If you have one already, make sure the syntax allow override all and required all granted. Then press the keys Ctrl, X, and Y and hit enter to save the file and exit. Press the Stop and Start button on the control panel of the external Apache server. In the terminal, type sudo --Apache ctl --restart and hit enter. Return to the browser, enter localhost in the address bar, and refresh. It works. And try access to PHP info. Here is error 44 because misspelling. So be careful. Let's correct it. Now it works. Try access to my site's project. And PHP my admin. Try my user path with PHP info. Everything is resolved. No more errors. Let's clear the screen to make some spaces. Go back to httpd.conf file. Enter your Mac user password and hit enter. Press the keys of Ctrl and W to display search for a word. Insert document root again and press enter. Path URI of document root and directory, affecting the errors. For this, I give some explanation. For example, if I get the path wrong, remove S from sites, there is no site folder in this directory. Let me save the file and exit. Restart the Apache server and refresh the browser. I got the unable to connect error. Let me try another path. Still get an error. Click on the Tools menu at the top of the Firefox browser. Select Web Developer and Browser Console, and the error for not found is displayed. Actually, my folder name is not site but sites, which is why the error occurred. So make sure to correct the path of URI. You can make the document root directory out of applications this folder. I know mostly somebody will use the path URI like that. Go back to the history of httpd.conf file again. Change the document root and directory path to applications. Save the file and exit. Restart the Apache server after every change. Refresh the browser. You can see the error 43 forbidden, permission denied. Again, click on the Tools menu at the top of Firefox browser. Select Web Developer and Browser Console, and the error 43 forbidden is displayed. Return to the terminal. Type ls -L, reach to list directories and display permissions, and press enter. That's the auto codes of the applications folder. The last three codes represent the client does not have read permission on the browser. When the client puts the URI in the address bar of the browser, HTTP will receive your URI and send it to the web server. But the permission of path directory is denied, which does not allow the client to access the web page. So the web server will respond to the error by sending back the status to HTTP, and HTTP put it to your browser. Go back to the configuration file again. This time change to help directory. Save the file and exit. Restart the Apache server again after every change. Refresh the browser. You can access and see Hello Buddies. Return the terminal. Type to list the permission again. That's the auto code of help folder, which means the help folder shares read and execute permissions with the client. And the sites folder has full permissions for the client to read, write, and execute. But the applications directory itself has no privilege. The path setting and require or denied will affect the occurrence of errors. You can choose to put it in htdoc or any folder located in Applications, but you need to change the permission mode of the directory to solve the error 403. You can subscribe to my channel to learn more about the solutions of permission denied 403 and page not found 404. After resolving all errors, when accessing phpMyAdmin, an error 2054 or 1045 appears when logging in. If you want to learn how to solve it, please subscribe to Help Buddy Solutions channel.